Alrighty.
Oh no.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy lockdown Sunday again. Lockdown again Sunday.
Yes. Extended 2 weeks again. Not only 4 weeks now, it's 6 weeks.
And I lost track of what all the rules because there's yesterday or 2 days ago there were additional lockdown measures kind of introduced.
Yeah.
But and then he kind of walked back on a few. I don't know where we are with it. Nothing changes for me, but it just seems to be a little confusing.
Right. Oh, I think even the grocery stores, the capacity went down.
Is it?
Got reduced, yeah. So I do yesterday I went to get some kimchi because I ran out.
Yeah.
But then there was a big line of it. I was like, damn it.
Fuck.
We're back to this again.
Yeah.
I have to line up to go to the grocery store now.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And we're still not vaccinated.
No. Yeah.
So
Alice's parents have an appointment. They got
That's
an
good.
appointment. Yeah.
My mom and Najashi, they have an appointment as well.
Ooh,
but it's I think next week, which is kind of annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's really exciting.
Where?
It was Young and Eglinton. It's one of the last 3 city-run clinics that opened up. So, I'm looking forward to them. I'm excited for them.
Is your postal code part of
it's in a
hard hit area?
It's a
it is.
Spot, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
what about your dad?
He said he had an appointment.
Okay.
But I don't know if he has. He needs to. Yeah, he needs to set it up and do it. And I think he said he did, but I don't know. I live in a hotspot.
Yeah.
Even the hotspot rollout has been quite. There's been a lot of disconnect and and confusion.
Yeah.
So they say they're not gonna if there's a hotspot mobile pop-up that comes up, they'll I don't know how they're gonna tell it, but they're not gonna really announce it so they don't overflow.
Oh.
So I don't. It's confusing. I don't know, but this whole rollout has been a bit of an issue. But another topic, another time. This week we are talking about something tied to COVID. Because our life is nothing but COVID, lockdown. But this week we were talking about the homelessness population. So I guess the first question is: have you live downtown? I do not live downtown right now, and you oversee a little park, a cute little parkette, I think.
Yeah.
Has there been a steady population of homeless people in that area?
Or no. There used to be, but then I think the city installed this extremely bright light on top of a building that shines down to the park. So I don't think whomever was coming here to shoot up heroin and stuff really doesn't like it. So they all literally nobody really camps out here anymore. I think most of them moved to there's a park right behind AGO, and right next to OCAD.
Grange Park.
Yeah. There are some, and those are pretty much the homeless people that I always recognize because I tend to walk that way to get groceries.
I see.
So,
I see. Yeah. No, it's been first of all, let's be clear, that homelessness problem is a very complicated and very complex issue that I don't know nearly enough about, but I think it's become, I think it's because people are not on the streets as much, it's a lot more easier to recognize homelessness, I think.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Even when I've gone downtown a couple of times, there's no one on the street, so it's just so much easier to kind of see. Yeah. And I guess these little, what do you call it? Little areas where a lot of homeless people congregate. I guess we're seeing more and more of those. I don't know why. Why do you think that is?
Oh, I think it's because so you know how government has all these centers where they house homeless people and then give them food and shelter and all that stuff. But because of the COVID, the capacity is slashed, and also the hours are slashed. So
I see.
They started renting out these hotels and to house the homeless people. So the city has like all these different like private hotels that kind of like turned into housing for homeless. Yeah.
Oh.
But it's like it's difficult to know, right? Because it's not like the city tells you. It's like, oh, we're
Sure,
gonna
yeah.
rent this hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
So like those, I guess, like because of the capacity reduction and these like random housing popping up in different neighborhoods, I think that's why like people start seeing is like, oh man, like I feel like there's like a lot more homeless people in my neighborhood all of a sudden.
Okay.
So for example, like a Young in Eglinton, there's like a Mount Pleasant in Eglinton. There's a hotel. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's been in the news quite a bit.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I think so. You're right. They opened one up and like Young and Eglinton area, and the way that I've seen it in the news is people in the community in that community have been quite upset because there's a couple public schools nearby, and like parents have been kind of concerned, being like, why would you put like one of these temporary homeless things so close to like a public school? And I think one of the things, like the things that have kind of upset parents are like, you know, you see needles and you see like poop and like all this kind of stuff, which and especially near kids and playgrounds, like people have been quite upset about it. Not to mention apparently, like, you know, I think from, if I recall, you know, some local business owners, like they had some of their stuff vandalized, and it kind of, like, it's a tricky situation because, you know, on one hand, it's easy for someone like me to be like, oh, you know, like homeless people, they need places to kind of stay. They need, you know, they need shelter, they need food. But at the same time, you know, you talk to people who live in that area who might live next to one, and they might have a little family. You might be a little, I can appreciate the concern that they would have as well. You know, another example is I think on King West in Dufferin, there's a soccer pitch there.
Yeah.
And I think right behind it, they opened up one of these as well, like these temporary things. And I think just over in the last year or so, that there have been like little fires that kind of might have happened, like some issue, like there's just the things that, you know what I mean, like when just events have happened, and I can appreciate people who live in that area who are kind of concerned and upset about it. But at the same time, the flip side is like, you know, homeless people, they like, we as a society, as a city, need to take care of them as well, and they need to be somewhere. So you know, it's not easy. It's not easy.
No. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on these encampments? And like,
yeah, that's like if you ask anybody, nobody would volunteer and like, yes, you should set up a center in my neighborhood. So yeah. So I think like that's really tough, but it has to be somewhere. So I don't know how city decides where to set up these things. I have no idea. But encampments, it's like more like that's the choice of the homeless people. And underpass, I think there was like a underpass of QEW, there was a big fire, like a huge one. Yeah. Because there was like a whole bunch of tents, and then they were cooking stuff, and then fire got started, and you know, things like that. So my opinion, well, underpass sounds pretty good because you're protected from the rain.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And then probably not too many people are gonna come bother you. I did. Oh, you know what? Okay, so in Liberty Village, there's this like what's the Bentway? You know the Bentway?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so the Bentway is over here, and you go a little bit further to the west, and then there's like a QEW going, and then there's a Strawn Avenue that goes over. Where the Strawn Avenue goes over, there are, since this is like a park and like people have events and stuff,
like Fort
there's
York
like a
Park or something.
Yeah, Fort York. Yeah. There's like water fountain.
Okay.
A whole bunch of water fountains. And then under the Strawn Avenue, there's like this little, it's like a bridge, and there are like fences. But then I saw homeless people climbed over the fences, and they literally set up like a community. And I was like, this is sick. This is so sick. They have like a just drum and like fire starting, and they're cooking barbecues and shit. And I was like, yo, they revolutionized because they got gates.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
they got like
yeah.
fences. We just have to climb over. It's not like they have a door.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like a chain fence.
I see.
Yeah. But then
Wow.
there's like, yo, I was like, wow,
Is this,
smart. Because
yeah,
like,
I mean, very smart. Is it still there? Do you know?
no, since Alice moved, I haven't really gone that way. But
Right.
it was there for like good 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and we saw it like slowly grow. At first, it was one person. It was just one tent, and then slowly because they start collecting things, right?
Yeah.
So they got like bicycles. They got like yeah, a whole bunch. Like yeah, I was like, interesting,
Very
very
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there are plugs too in that park. Yes, yeah. So you can charge your phone. I was like, yo, these people found the jackpot.
I mean, there you go. I mean, it sounds like you got all your basics covered: electricity, shelter,
Yeah,
fence, fire. I
yeah,
mean, wow.
yeah.
Yeah. No, there's like near Alex's place. There's a couple under the highway there. And then even like around where she lived, she noticed an increase in like homeless people. And I remember her telling me like at the beginning it was not a big deal because like they're very like 99% of the time it's not an issue. But one time she was walking home and it was late, and there's one of the guys was like really drunk or fucked up, and she was like really scared because he was kind of like getting aggressive. Even kind of spat towards her or something like that, like something like really fucked up. So
yeah,
yeah, like Bellwoods, there's like a big group there. And no, so let me ask you like a question that again I think neither one of us are particularly qualified to answer is like how do you deal with this?
yeah.
And I for me, I think there's obviously a variety of factors that kind of lead to homelessness. It's not just one thing, but I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even know, like to address a problem, you got to figure out what like the root cause of that problem is. And I don't really know what the root problem is. You know, is it, I remember reading a long time ago that like people have this stereotype that if you're homeless, you got like a bit of a drug problem, or you got like, you know, like you got some like mental health issues. And that's true. But apparently there's a lot of homeless people who like that's not like, I don't know what the percentages are, but that's like, there's a lot of homeless people who just don't have family and like just couldn't like missed a couple paychecks and got kicked out. And apparently it's a very vicious cycle, or like once you're in that kind of, once you're homeless, it's very hard to kind of get out of it. So I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, would you have any like thoughts or questions on how to kind of address these kind of things?
I saw a couple like CBC news segments on it, but it was like a joint. It was like they talked about homelessness plus drug problem. That was one, and then like homelessness and then mental health for sure.
Yeah.
So like drug problem, like so a little bit sideways down the rabbit hole, but like I guess like removing stigma and having things like they have centers where you can just go get heroin and things like in Vancouver.
Yeah,
I think that would be good because then it's like super safe. Second, like they could become like functional.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think like those safe injection sites or whatever they're called. I think this like the studies are quite conclusive where like it helps prevent death. There's like always nurses nearby to kind of help treat, and it's like it's a good way to kind of help. It's a good first step in addressing like drug addiction. But I think you're right, like decriminalizing, like I think I think American law, and I don't know about Canada, but I think it's similar, where like a lot of the rules and laws have been to kind of like drug issues were kind of viewed as criminal, and like what's the term? Drug abuse was kind of always viewed from the lens of criminality, when it should be viewed from like a mental health perspective, like a substance abuse issue. So I agree. I think that's one good thing. Yeah, I think I don't know. What about the mental health part? Like, I don't
Mental
really
health
know.
part, oh man, that I think that one's so tough just because it's like everybody's mental health problem is not the same. So it's not like let's prescribe this drug
Yeah,
to
yeah,
everyone,
yeah.
and like it's not like that. But like community outreach and more inclusiveness in terms of like including them and getting them into the society, into the community, and then probably, yeah, slowly removing the stigma so then they can just be part of the community and
Mhm.
be more functional.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, and I have a sense that like funding for mental health initiatives and support is probably chronically underfunded. Like my guess, like, you know, like there's, it's we want to like destigmatize and everything, you know, but I wonder how, like, I wonder if provincial government or federal government is pumping enough money into like hiring like trained medical experts in mental health, or like having enough facilities for people to kind of go get support, you know, or like making it easier to get help if you don't know. Like I'm sure there's all these different things that kind of play in. But yeah, I think yeah. Here's a question, and I don't know, like mental health issues. From what I understand, if you don't deal with certain, again, like mental health is like a broad umbrella term, obviously, right? But like certain mental health conditions, from what I understand, like if you don't address it early on, it could just gets worse and worse and worse. So to your point, maybe like societally, like we need to do a better job of like, hey, look, if you have these issues, it's good to get it looked at early on. I'm reminded of like that one. Do you remember the one a couple of years ago? The chick, the lady who had mental health issues and she killed someone in the financial district.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She would dress up,
Oh,
and she would always
yeah,
look for work.
yeah.
And then she ended up killing someone in like Shoppers Drug Mart downtown.
Okay.
And she had like a history of mental health issues, but her family and her support system weren't able to kind of help treat that kind of thing early on. So it just kind of got worse and worse and worse to the point where she killed somebody. But that's kind of one of the things I think of, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we as a group, we as people need to like hopefully make it easier for people to get help and destigmatize it. Yeah, man, it's messed up. Okay, so so we talked about mental health and drug addiction, or sorry, homelessness and substance abuse problems, and homelessness and mental health. But what about, and then the third point, which I touched on earlier, like homelessness and fiscal, like, and just what's the word? And becoming homeless because you just can't pay your bills.
Right.
So, which kind of goes to like the question of like universal basic income. It's been in the news a lot recently. Just general thoughts on the whole idea?
I guess there are like two sides of this. One side is like, oh, you just give money to people. Why would they try to look for work if their means are met? Although I don't think we can probably like pay people enough so that they can't work. They will choose not to work. I guess depending on where you live, but definitely not in a big city like this, like those unemployment insurance and things like that. It's not enough, right? Like it's like maybe it will cover rent fairly, and then the other part is like we have, especially in capitalism, we have so much resource to go around. Why can't we have some level of universal income where we help everybody to get ahead, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I believe there has been some studies. But I feel like each of these studies have like a very specific cultural background because it's done in specific countries. So maybe like you can't just generalize and say like,
Sure. Yeah.
oh, based on this study, we saw that even with the basic income, everybody still strives to, to do whatever they want to do. Personally, I think personally, having universal basic income would free up people's time more to explore what they want to do.
Yes.
Rather than being tied down to bills.
Yes.
Because I have to pay bills. I will do this. Like, I have to do this. Whereas in maybe 50% of my bills are covered, maybe I can spend a little more time looking at like something that's more interesting other than just like I have to pay bills.
Yes. I think that point is like the biggest for me, because I like the idea. So this is the thing, right? When you're like the way that like I think in Canada and like many places in the United States, the way it works is like you make like, let's say you're kind of struggling to kind of like make ends meet. You're kind of at the poverty line, let's say. It's really hard to like, I think we as a society should kind of be in a place where people always try to like improve their lives. You know what I mean? Like try to go up the economic ladder and do better for yourself and all that shit. The problem with poverty is like once you're there, as I mentioned earlier, it's hard to get out of that cycle. And I think the way that like current like today's like social benefit and welfare systems work is like it helps you to kind of stay at the poverty line, but it doesn't help you to get up and like out of the poverty cycle. And I think that's kind of where universal basic income would help, because to your point, like when you're saying one of the benefits for you is like it could potentially free up time to pursue other careers. I think having some sort of a universal basic income will help people at the poverty line by allowing them to like, hey, I don't need to worry about this bill. I can like think about like educating myself to learning a skill so I can then get a better job to kind of make like, you know what I mean? To kind of grow. And I think that for me is like a big reason why I think it would be a really good idea is because it could help people at the lower end focus on getting out of that low end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think because and to the concern and the point that you made earlier where like, and this gets brought up a lot, is like if you pay everyone, like why is anyone going to want to work, right? Which I think is false on a couple of points. Number one, I think the idea of a universal basic income, like it's not going to be enough to live like a lavish lifestyle, right? And I think one number I read in Canada thinking of doing is like 20 grand a year, $25,000 a year, which is like you're not going to be like it's not it's good enough to maybe cover your basics, but it's nowhere near enough where people are going to be like, all right, I'm going to be happy. That's number one. Number two, I think like human like nature and like most people want to do something, want to contribute to society, like you know what I mean, like there's like assuming that everyone's just going to be lazy and not do anything, I think is, I mean, I think it's a good opinion, right? So I think if you have people who are kind of struggling and you give everyone that basic income, I think it could help. It would be costly, but I think you could make the argument that the way that things are currently are right now, like that's just as costly as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think and when we talk about this, you know what I thought of recently? Apparently, like, so with COVID going on, right, and businesses is kind of not doing all that well. I think I read a couple months ago that there's a district in Korea, like in a specific neighborhood, to help local businesses. The local municipal government or whatever gave everyone in that area like a card, like a prepaid card. You could, and it's got a bunch of money on it, but you can only use it at local businesses in that area.
Oh, great idea!
That was really clever. Yeah. So it was like it's like a prepaid debit card.
Yeah.
But you couldn't use it like on online Amazon or anything like that. And I thought that was a really clever and like an innovative way to help local businesses, but also like it's kind of universal basic income, right? Like in some sort of a way, like, you know, so, and apparently it did quite well. So yeah. And I guess you can make the argument that like CERB that we have is universal basic income in some sort of a way, right?
It is.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But no one's like, I'm just going to be on CERB forever.
Well, I guess there might be a few.
That's true.
But
That's true. So hold on. I wonder how would that work then? Like, if it's $25,000 a year, let's say, right? Does everyone get that?
No, I don't think so. I feel like just because it's the name universal income, it sounds like everyone gets the same amount, and it's like it sounds like socialism in a way, right? But it's like but in a way, unemployment check, like insurance, is sort of like a type of universal income in a way, because like they make sure you get paid even when you don't have a job. Right. So I feel like if you implement a regulation in a way, like there's got to be some categories.
Or maybe it's like a gradient tied to your income.
Yeah.
So if last year you made over this much, you get less. Or if you made even more, you get even less, or something like that.
Yeah. But I bet people will cheat the system, obviously, and
I mean, there's always going to be people who try to cheat the system, like you know. But hopefully, you have the necessary checks in place when it comes to tax time or whatever to help mitigate that, you know. So
like how down in US is like, what was it the Wing Machine or Wild Wings, whatever, like companies like that are getting millions of dollars for the COVID.
Yeah.
Where it's not going to the people. It's like, how did that happen?
Even in Canada, like during like there's all these like money handed out to businesses, and some businesses like got it when they really shouldn't have, like, you know. And I think that's just like you're gonna refine the rules as you go along, and you know, like that's just, you know, it's whatever. But you know, speaking of it, like tomorrow the federal budget is being announced. And there's a lot of talk and rumors that a lot of the big liberal ideas of like the things that has been like big talking points of the liberals might be included. One of them is daycare, subsidized daycare. Pharmacare. And I don't think universal basic income. Like I think that's it's too far. It's too much of a stretch to kind of be included in the budget, I think. But anyway, so apparently there's going to be a lot of money put towards national daycare program potentially, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah,
because right now daycare costs an arm and a leg, and if you want kids and you want to put them to daycare, it'll cost you like a fortune. But in Quebec, it's not the case. Quebec, it's got subsidized daycare. I think you only pay like $20 a day or something. Like it's very, very affordable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Quebec, yeah. But it's also like Quebec university tuition. It's heavily subsidized. It's much cheaper over there. But there are rumblings that they might start looking into like some sort of a national program. But liberal governments have been talking about this for decades. Like nothing's really ever come out of it. But
I see.
As
someone from Ontario, can you just go to Quebec and like live there and then start enrolling your child to
if you live there, sure, I think so.
Yeah, because you pay taxes like I guess property tax and all that stuff. Okay,
I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
but what about university? Like what if I'm from Ontario but I go to McGill? Like would my tuition be cheaper?
I think so.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I think from what I understand, like university tuition, and then part of the reason why I know this is like, I don't know, like way back, there were all those protests in Quebec, those university students. And I was talking to Jenny about this one time. And I told her, I'm like, you like those, it's kind of cute that these students from Quebec are protesting their tuition rates when our tuition is like 10 times more expensive or something like that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure university tuition is much cheaper. I could be wrong, but I think it's much cheaper in Quebec. But yeah, man, I think I personally like daycare, and part of it is because like if I want to have kids in the next couple of years, you know, if I don't have to pay like $2,000 a month or whatever the fuck it is,
I might just stay home with the kids. If there are more than 2 kids, like it's time. I just work out at home, do the dishes, cook a little, and just take care of the kids for about 10 years.
So then what, it's Alice bringing home the bacon?
Sure, yeah.
That works. Why not? Fuck, why not? Yeah. Cool. No, it's good. It's good. Is there anything else that you want to touch on?
No.
Yeah.
I just hope everybody's safe.
Man. Yeah, like I can't, like we're April 18th. we're past a year. You know what's crazy? Like, you know how my phone, like I have Google app, a photos app.
Yeah.
And every year, every 2 years, it goes like, hey, 1 year ago today, 2 years ago today. Yeah. I'm at the point now where 1 year ago today, I was already in lockdown, and I was taking, and it's just like how are we? We're still in this lockdown for over a year, and it's just like,
yeah,
it's fucking crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, tough.
Alrighty.
All right, dude. That was a good one.
Yeah.
We'll do
next
this
time.
again next week.
Mm-hmm.
Later.
Right.